wanting to know who or what you are is driven by an urge to be somehow different to what you already are and not wanting to be that. And whilst wanting to know what you are or who you are is related to who you want to be, then you're never really going to settle into what you're overlooking in what you are. So what you want to be and what you are completely unrelated. In fact, what you want to be, whether you want to be in a higher state, you want to be an enlightened person, you want to be a healthier person, you want to be a happier person, none of these are related to understanding the person that you are. These are merely an attempt at escaping what you already are into what you want to be. And so you get nowhere, get absolutely nowhere. And it goes on for thousands of years. Look at the traditions all over the world. They're hooked into a massive amount of theories on how to stop being what you are and become what you want to be. It's not possible. Look at that. How can you not be what you are, and how can you become what you aren't? You can't become what you aren't. You're always going to be what you are. Wanting to understand what you are must include experiencing or accepting the fact of what you may not want to be. And the fact of what you may not want to be is the beginning of understanding what and who you are. So what and who you are and how you are all go together, all as one, as a fact of you as you are right now. What you want to be, what you would prefer to be, has got nothing to do with that. So drop that. Drop what you want, drop what you prefer, and come back to what you are and begin there. That is the beginning of you, and that is the end of you. That is what you are. The condition you're in and where you experience that condition are one and the same thing. So the condition I am in, what it's like to be me, and being me are one and the same thing. So if you discover where being you is known, then you discover what being you is. And if you discover what being you is, then in that you'll feel exactly how it is to be you. One and the same thing. Now, where is that? That is only in one place for all of us, and that is in the sensations of the body. In the sensations of the body, we have a thought reaction to that. When we don't like the sensations we experience as ourselves, this is only the effect of our thoughts about that. When our thoughts about that drop away, then we only have the sensations of ourselves however we are, and however that happens to be, if it's not thought about, we can't dislike it. We can't even suffer it. As soon as we think about that, we're thinking about what I would prefer, what I would like to be, what I want to be, when we're not that, which only makes us not being that a source of unhappiness or distress for us. Otherwise, when we don't add in that imaginary possibility of being that which we are not, or in a condition that we're not in, when we don't add that imaginary possibility in, then we've only got the fact of what we are now. And in that fact, there's no thoughts about what we could be. What we could be is like clearly a fantasy and irrelevance to my existence now. It's nothing to do with reality. And there you have it. There you have you in what you are. And where do you know how it is to be you? You don't know how it is to be you in your thoughts about yourself, because your thoughts about yourself are misleading you. Your thoughts about yourself are in complaint about the way you are. Yeah? Your thoughts about yourself are also once removed from the direct lived experience of what it is to be you and how it is to be you. Where is that? In the body of you. That's got nothing to do with what you think about. It's got nothing to do with what you want to be. If you want happiness, then you're going to make yourself unhappy. You want happiness, which means I'm not happy now, but wanting that happiness is going to make you distressed with what you're like now. What you're like now is fine until you think about being happy. So happiness is just a temporary state. It's not a state that you can maintain anyway, and nor should you. In fact, it's not up to you as a thought process as to how you should be. It's entirely out of your hands. It is actually entirely up to the natural, fortunately, it's entirely up to the natural intelligence of the body. And why is the natural intelligence of the body in control of this? Because the natural intelligence of the body is naturally intelligent. There is no duality in that. There's no urge for being any other way than the way it is, because the body needs to know the way it is by being in the sensation of the way it is in order to know what its needs are and what to do about that, in order to trigger all the natural responses of the body to taking care of itself moment by moment throughout its life. These ideas that we've introduced on top of this natural physical process of living and recovering from the effects of living by simply living along the way, by simply living through those effects, allowing those effects to be there as a sensation in the body and not wanting anything other than that, not wanting anything other than the way we are. We have the way we are, we need the way we are, and the body doesn't want to be any other way because it knows, it's intelligent enough to know that there is no other way I can be other than the way I am. Our problem is not the way we are. Our problem is wanting to be another way. So all religion, all mythology, all Buddhism, all yogic traditions, all concepts of enlightenment, all concepts of self-improvement are the problem. We're trying to improve on what we are simply because we're completely misunderstanding the significance of the way we already are, and that is actually all we need to know, and that is actually essential. And that is the natural intelligence of the body. And the intelligence of the body that we're born with, we are born with this innate intelligence of, millions of years. The body is far more intelligent than anything we dream up from the time we start thinking, when we learn to think and learn to talk. Anything we dream up, anything we make up is thought-induced, ideas, perceptions. And all ideologies, all religions, all mythologies, all meditation techniques all fall into the same category. All spirituality, all science, all falls into the same category as thinking. It's all part of thinking. It's got nothing to do with intelligence, nothing to do with the intelligence of the body. Thinking is a very, very unintelligent state, particularly when you look at how it functions, as going, I don't want to be the way I am. Well, that is really, honestly, that's quite stupid. Why would you even say that? How is that relevant to reality at all? Because there is no choice in that. But through thinking, we've dreamt up this self-importance of the human species that we are, that we can actually change life and make life the way we want it to be. This is a delusion. We have no control. We don't need control. There is nothing to control when it is already functioning exactly as it should be. The way in which the intelligence of the body is working is already exactly as it needs to be for the body to know of itself, of its own intelligence, what to do at every step of the way. Now, the thing that I think has confused this for all of us, really, is instead of just being what we are and one day dropping dead, or ceasing to be the way we are, is the ideas that the spiritualist and the religious person has brought in and indoctrinated into our thinking processes. And that is that we're not good enough as we are, and there's something more to achieve. And anybody who talks like this guy here, says it's just all in the body, must be ignorant, must be lacking these experiences. But I can assure you, I have had all of those experiences, all the mystical experiences, and they are absolutely thought-induced hypnotic bullshit. They have nothing to do with reality, and they don't fulfill any need in the body. In fact, they're harmful to the body, and the body doesn't want them. And the whole reason we want these mystical experiences, and the whole reason we grab hold of these ideas of there's more and something better to become and to be, is because we're caught up in our own self-importance. We actually have this idea that we are something special above and beyond all other creatures on the planet. We're just part of the game here. We're part of the game. As this living organism, I don't mean the word game in that sense. I mean, we're part of the lived experience of this planet. We are part of it. We are not the king. We are not the god. Yeah, there is no God, there is no king. These are just concepts based on thinking, which has created the idea that there's something better to be, something more to be, and that somehow we're in control. But when you really look at it, this has to go. I'm not in control of anything. I don't need to be in control of anything. Everything is just happening of its own volition. Everything that makes up what I am is happening in its own way, in its own time. And mentally, I can't understand that at all. And I don't need to understand that. And if once I start to understand it or think I'm starting to understand it, what do I do with that? I just try and control it. And when I try and control the direction of what is already happening in me as a living organism, as an intelligent body, when I try to control that, I start to interfere with the direction that's taking. And I try to control that to fit in with what I want. And what do I want? I want to be something that I'm not, which can't be done, which is impossible. So, of course, that imposing that on the body of me is going to cause all sorts of problems and just get in the way. So, time to get out of your own way. Yeah, get out of the way of your own lived existence by simply coming back into, not that you've left actually, it's a difficult thing to put here. I don't want to say coming back into your body because you're not out of your body. That's just a delusion of your thinking. I want to say just sit quietly, don't do anything, and just wait and see what you begin to notice happening of its own volition from the inside out. And the inside out is the natural flow of life of you. The inside out is the expression of you coming from its origins inside of you. Yeah. So what you are comes into expression in life. What you are already is all you can be and exactly what you need to be in order to recover from the effects that have accumulated inside of that anyway. So any little effects that have happened along the way, don't worry, the body's got it covered, but you've got to let the body take care of it in its own way. And its own way is quite straightforward, really. If you look at nature, at how it works, just the sensations of the state that you're in already are the sensations that you need in order to process any effects that life has had along the way. Now, the second thing is that interfering with a thought process, with a concept that there's something more to be and something more to achieve. This is a total distraction from what you are. So this whole concept of I want to know what I am, I want to know who I am, I want to understand myself, yet at the same time, I want to be something different to what I am. This is totally in conflict. And whilst you're wanting to be something different to what you are, you're never going to accept and settle into what you are, and therefore you're never going to understand yourself at all. Never. Yeah, you're just going to be constantly thinking about, oh, but there must be more. There must be more. There isn't more. I can absolutely say that with certainty, that there isn't more. That we only want more because we're out of touch with some degree, out of touch with the fulfillment of being whatever we are at each moment of our life, which brings about an emptiness inside of us or a distress inside of us, and therefore we want to fill that with more. We imagine there's got to be more because there's not enough here. But why isn't there enough here? Because we're not even here. We're trying to get more. Once you stop trying to get more and drop the ideas of there being more, what happens when you drop that? There's nothing more. This is it. That's it. Now, what is this which is it? How do you know it which is it? You sense it in your body. You sense it in the living sense of your own immediate experience of you existing right now. The third thing is there's no center to that. Yeah. I'm talking to you right now looking at the camera, but there's no center to this organism from which I am operating. Yeah. I'm operating from every part of this living organism. It's fully alive. It's all pulsating and vibrating away, with the enthusiasm of what I have to say. And what this body has to say to you is there is no mind, soul, or spirit. This is just all different things that we invent through thinking. Yeah, these are just words. These are just ideas, and the experiences of these are conjured by repeating the ideas of these in different meditation techniques to actually produce some experience of that. But all experiences are thoughts. Yeah, all experiences are thinking. If it's thinking, it's just conjured. It's not real, because thoughts themselves are not a living thing. They're just an activity of the body. And when the body uses thought, it only uses thoughts for mechanical purposes. That's all it needs it for. It never uses thoughts to try and understand itself. Why? Because there's no way as a body that I can't understand myself. It's impossible not to understand myself, but it's important to understand what is it that is understanding ourselves. What is the understanding of ourselves, and the only understanding of ourselves that we have? It is not in thinking. That is not where we can understand ourselves. We can only understand and know ourselves in the direct sense of ourselves, in the living experience of ourselves in the body. But we say, but I don't want this. It doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel comfortable. There must be something wrong. That's an assumption. And that is a premature assumption before giving your system a chance by just staying with the sensations of you in the body and letting all your complaints and all your thoughts about that drop into the background. So whenever complaints about your pain or your distress or any other experience that's going on in you, whenever your complaints about these come up, don't just go along with these complaints. Even when you think, oh, this is too painful. You may experience it as being too painful. You may be experiencing it as being too distressful or too unfulfilling. But this is just a conjured experience based on some distortion in your thinking. I guarantee you. And that distortion in your thinking is already creating a disconnect from that which you're thinking or trying to think about, which is yourself as a body. You can't think about yourself as a body. You can't think about yourself at all, because yourself is a living thing, and your thinking can never capture life. It can only think about life. So it's always outside of life, away from life, disconnected from life. So the living experience of you is quiet. There's no thinking involved in that at all. And that, in the felt sense of you in the body, is the only knowing and understanding of yourself that is available to you. That's all you have. Wanting more than that is the problem. Try that for yourself. However it feels in you today, right now. If you don't like it, don't just agree with your dislike of it. Question that dislike. Challenge it. When you feel yourself not liking something, or thinking that you don't like something, reacting to some experience of yourself, don't just go along with that straight away. You can question that. You can challenge that. You can approach that dislike of yourself with a question. And that question is that really true? Is this really my condition? Or am I conjuring my condition, an exaggeration on my condition, by habitually reacting to it throughout my life? And you just question that. You just hold that. Is this really the way I am? Is it really something I don't like? Until you get back to the experience of yourself without your thoughts about it, without your dislike of it, until you get back to that raw sensation of how it is to be you in the body, you have not found you. You have not found the true condition of you. You are still tainting that condition with your thoughts about it and your reactions to it. So you have to get back to the pure sense of pain or distress or whatever it happens to be in the body, until there is just the sense of that, not separate to you, but as you. Just the sense of that. When there is no duality, when there is no separation from your pain, you are just the pain. When there's no separation from your distress, you are just what you previously called distress. And when you are just in that, just being that as you are right now, then see if you dislike it. Only then are you in a position to know whether you like it or not. And you won't be able to dislike it without going back into thinking about it. Staying with that sensation without going back into your thoughts and judgments and criticisms of yourself as you are, staying with that, you will experience a natural movement happens in its own sweet time, in its own way. And that natural movement is the intelligence of the body of you taking care of itself in a way that we, in our thinking processes, can't even comprehend. The intelligence of this living organism, the innate intelligence that is already with us at the moment we're born, because it's a part of being what we are. At the moment we're born, we have far more significant intelligence at that moment than once we learn to think and talk and think about ourselves. And then we lose touch with that intelligence. It's still functioning, it's still operating, but we're interfering with it through whatever we think about ourselves. Understand this, it is impossible to think about yourself. You can't do it. Can you think about even the simplest thing as happiness, or the simplest thing as sadness, or the simplest thing as grief? Can you think about that and still know it? Or do you actually have to be inside the feeling of that to really know it as it is? These two things don't go together. You're either feeling the sense of yourself or you're thinking about it. So just give your body a chance. There is nothing to achieve. There is nothing to improve on, but there may be quite a lot of recovery because of this interference in the way in which your body is functioning from your thought processes, from your reactions to yourself, by suppressing and disassociating and escaping and denying that which you are not, when that's what you want to be. That is your only problem. Wanting to be something you are not sets up your conflict, your comparisons, and your pain, or the suffering that you cause yourself when you compare what you are now and how you are now with how or what you want to be. How or what you want to be is a fantasy. It's an illusion. Don't take any notice of that. It's just what the spiritualists and the religious people have been pumping into people for thousands of years, causing all the misery that we suffer. This natural organism of the body itself, that which you are, is a part of the natural world. We don't come from somewhere else. We came out of this world as an expression, a unique expression of this world. And there we are. We're expressing ourselves exactly the way we should be, from when we're expressing ourselves from the sense of ourselves in the body of what we are. Just leave it at that. Don't take it further than that. If you don't take it further than that, if you don't think that there's more to achieve, that there's more that you want beyond what you already have as a living experience of you, if you don't start thinking there must be something else, there must be something more, you won't be harassing yourself with that stupid idea, that incredibly harmful idea. It's all in here, in the life of you. There's nothing outside of the life of you for you that you need to achieve, that you need to attain. If it's not there now, it's not there. It doesn't exist. Therefore, anything that exists in you right now, and you simply haven't appreciated that yet because you're too busy trying to become something different to what you are before you really know the full significance of what you already are and the state you're already in. And being in the state you're in and being what you already are, known to you, known to everybody equally, this is the natural meditation of the body. And all other meditations are an outside-in approach, trying to apply a certain technique, trying to apply and impose a certain experience, trying to change and achieve a certain result. This is like searching for sand on the beach. Whereas real meditation, the meditation of the body, the natural meditation, which is an inside out occurrence on a continual basis, it's always coming to life. Every second of our life, we are beginning. Every second of our existence, we are coming into life. More of us is coming into life. Another aspect of us coming into life. Exactly what is needed is happening moment by moment in our life. We are always just beginning. That natural meditation is completely different to the outside in approach. And it's the only way you can really know what you already are, and therefore know truthfully and honestly for yourself whether that really needs any improvement or not. Even if it did, our thinking is too stupid, too shallow, and too insignificant to bring about that improvement. But it doesn't need improvement. It's already doing everything that needs to be done. You just can't see that yet. You just aren't sensing that yet. You're just not appreciating that yet. So how are you going to get to that point? Drop the idea. It's not about how we should become. It's the wrong question. How can I change myself? How can I improve myself? This is the wrong question. The right question is, what is preventing me from living with myself as I already am and being perfectly fine with that? Now, that's a worthwhile question. And the answer to that question is the way in which you keep trying to think about yourself. Stop that and just know yourself as you are, the only way you can know yourself as you are, and that is to drop back into the sense of yourself in the body, and that's what you know. And what you know there is exactly how you are. And don't ask the question, why am I this way? Don't go down that track. Just know the way you are and let that educate you. Let that take the lead. That sensation of the living body of you, the ongoing process of the body of you, day by day, week by week, year by year, has got you this far. And any suffering you've had in that is primarily because of your thinking, your thoughts about that, your reactions to that, your fight against that. And in that sense, your separation from the sense of yourself, from the immediate sense of yourself as life, into the thoughts about that life. And that separation, that's what's causing the emptiness. That's what's causing the hollowness. That's what's causing you to imagine and assume that there must be more. But what if there isn't more? And what if there isn't more because what you're hoping to be the more is already there inside of you? And your disconnection from that in a search for something more outside of you, or from something else, or from improving you, that is the only thing that is keeping you removed from your own direct sense of that more in you. So that's not something to strive for. It's already there. And what's preventing it is you trying to be any other way than the way you are. So when what you want to be is in conflict with what you are, come back to what is real and drop the illusion. And the illusion is what you want to be, and the real is what you are. And how you know that exists, how you know the existence of that, as the living, felt sensations of you in the body. And that's the massive difference, some of the massive differences between all other meditations in the world and this natural meditation of the body. All other meditations of the world are thought-based, thought-induced, outside-in approaches, very shallow, and overlooking the obvious. And that is the inside-out approach of the body, the meditation that only the body can do, because only the body can meditate. And that's why when you come back to the meditation of the body, you discover you can meditate. You discover how simple it is, how quiet you are, just being physical. And this is where you find yourself. This is because this is where you are. This is all you have. Everything else is beyond your reach, beyond your immediate experience, your immediate sense of existence. Why? Because it doesn't even exist. The more does not exist. This is it. Thanks for listening. I hope that was helpful. See you next time. Thanks for joining me today. If this talk resonated with you or helped you in any way at all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the talk with your friends so that they can get the benefit as well. Okay, bye for now.